What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with episode 19 of the Fight House podcast, and it is me, Jason Sutcliffe, with
Tristan Keddy.
And we've got a goodie. We're going to start things off today with Volkan Oezdemir, who has just devoured the light heavyweight division and is now knocking on the door of a title shot in like 10 months.
The king of the world right now.
He's on top of the world for sure. So we've got Volkan here. It's going to be a great conversation. Jose Shorty Torres is going to join us. We got a lot of things to talk about with Jose. He's been rehabbing. It's his birthday. Lots of things going on.
Steve Merrill.
Steve Merrill. He's going to be with us. LFA 19. He's going to be ready to go to war. McKee is going to be back with us talking about his upcoming fight at Bellator 182. I'm really looking forward to that one. Next up is Thanh Lee. He's coming off a big win against Lazar Stojadinovic at the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series Week 2. Fell short from the contract, but a flawless performance nonetheless. I'm really looking forward to talking to Thanh and having him back on the show, and we will close out everything with Colby Covington, the UFC welterweight who's been all over the news for coming to the aid of Dana White to defend him against Tyron Woodley. We're going to see what he's got to say. It's been taken a lot of different ways. Some people support Colby, some people not so much. We're going to see what Colby's got to say. He's looking to lobby for a title fight. Yeah. We'll see if he gets it. But stay with us because we got a really great show. So we're going to be back in 5 minutes. We're going to have Volkan Oezdemir. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jason Herzog has called a stop to this contest at 22 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Volkan No Time Oezdemir.
What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with Volkan Oezdemir, fresh off his destruction of Jimmy Manuwa. What's going on, Volkan? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back, man.
Hey, no problem. How are you?
Everything's going good. How's everything on your end?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's been a great week for me.
I bet it has, man. Things just keep getting better and better for you, sir. It just seems to be constantly on the rise, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things surrounding the fight this weekend was the new nickname, No Time. Who gave you that nickname, man, and how did that come about?
Oh, it's been, I had that name for a while. My friends found me that nickname because one time I was fighting in Denmark in a tournament. I three fights in one night. All of them were like in the minute mark.
Yeah.
So that's how they gave me the nickname, and we never really used it. And I think right now also, since the Micha's fight, they start talking about it again, and I think we just decided to switch because that's also something I want to do. Like No Time also make reference to the fact that I want to fight for the belt as fast as possible also.
Absolutely, man. It would if someone would have said to me in January when you were getting your shot that come August you'd be in a title talks and that conversation, I wouldn't have believed it, man. But it's been an incredible year for you so far. Has it been hard to absorb all this? Like, everything's happened so fast. You've kind of been fight to fight to fight. Like, have you really had a chance to sit down and take it in?
Not really. It's true. Everything's happening really fast, but also I'm always asking about something next. After each of my fights, I'm thinking about what's next. So that's also why I don't really take the time to sit and think about it. Right now, my goal is to fight Jones or Alex. And that's why also I don't really take my time to think about stuff because I'm trying to constantly improving.
And improving, you have everything. The whole fight, like, you've had 2 fights now that have kind of ended as quick as they've started. This one was incredibly fast. Describe the fight through your perspective. Like, when the fight starts, it's a 27-second fight. Like, describe where you were at and what happened from your perspective.
Oh, when I have a short fight like that, I don't really know. I think it's all about that switch button that happened inside me. Once I switch and I go into this killing mode, I start feeling something and I can't stop, Once I start landing in my last fight, there is a switch button that's happening in my head, and then once I start landing some shots, I just try to keep going until my opponent, dropped down.
How did you feel to walk away with the $50K performance bonus? Sorry about that for a second. I jumbled my words there. It must have been nice, considering you missed out on the last one, to walk away this time with the bonus.
Yeah, I mean that was great. Ending with the bonus during the biggest event of the year. That's something really nice because as performance of the night in the first fight on the pay-per-view from the biggest show of the year. So I'm really happy about it, and it gives me a lot of credit and possibility to buy me some nice gifts.
Sorry, you kind of broke up on me there at the end.
What
Hello?
did you say?
So I said you kind of broke up on me there at the end. Sorry. You said it'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I say it's just crazy that everything happened for me because that was the biggest event of the year, and I was able to do the performance of the night.
Yeah, man. Have you surprised yourself with these performances? I mean, you always come out and you hope to get the knockout and you hope that it happens in the first round. But have you surprised yourself with the way you've been fighting?
I think I really believe I'm gonna go for a knockout, and in the first round usually because that's how I'm trying to fight. So yeah, it's surprising when it happened because I don't even know when it's gonna happen, but I'm trying my best to give my my strongest shots every time.
Is there a party that's disappointed when the fight ends so quickly? Like, you put all these weeks and weeks of training and you grow your game and you develop these new skills, and then you get in there and it's over in 27 seconds and you haven't had a chance to show anybody the progression. Does any party get disappointed?
The only thing is I've been trying this new cardio training. I've been doing with the NFL trainer.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how my cardio improved. So I didn't really know, but I'm pretty sure my cardio is good. But that's something. That's the only thing that makes me question myself. But otherwise, I'm really happy about those quick wins.
Is there anything that gets a little bit I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, so if you go in and you don't know now, you're getting into these bigger and bigger fights and you're questioning your cardio, but you haven't had a chance to see its growth and see if it's where you want it to be. Is there any kind of any part of that that's a little bit discouraging sometimes, that you haven't had the chance and now you're getting into these really huge fights as your success grows?
No, because I'm training really hard in the gym, and I'm training with a lot of strong fighter. Really good guy on the ground, really good guy in striking, and I think since I'm training really hard, I know also where I'm at. So anyway, a fight is different all the time, so I'm not really anxious about that.
What made you switch your angle and challenge Gus after the fight? Because you were pretty adamant about wanting the winner between Jones and Cormier, and then I seen on social media that you had called for Gus. What made you kind of change direction there and point your attentions towards Gus?
So my goal is to go for the belt first, but since Jones was talking about fighting Lesnar,
right,
and he's looking for the money fight, I think. I don't have the name recognition, so I will be able to, I cannot compete with that fight because that's a big money fight, and I don't think I'm going to be interesting for the pay-per-view, for a fight against Jones. And so I think the best idea, the best strategy is to see who's the number one contender between Alex and me. And then the winner's going to fight Jones.
You said it was for the King of Europe. Do you give yourself a little extra motivation knowing, you're Alex is another European-born fighter, and you kind of have that competition?
Yeah, I think it's just a game to chase the fight.
Yeah.
But also me, Alex, and Jimmy now were the only 3 European fighters in the top 5, and that's also, now that I also beat Jimmy, then there is only Alex and me left. So that's why I'm also saying this.
How do you feel you match up against Gus stylistically?
What did you say?
I said, how do you feel you match up against Gus stylistically?
Really good. I think he's Gus is also a good preparation fight for Jones because they both have the same, like body type.
Yes.
And but they really have a different style. But I really like Gustafsson, but I think I'm going to do really great against him.
When you seen how Gus performed against Jones, and you see that, and then you see his fight with Ovince St. Preux, and you realize that Jones, if he does have any issues, it's usually with tall, rangy strikers. Does that give you confidence going into a fight or a potential fight with a guy like John Jones?
Oh yeah, I mean, anyway, they really have a specific style. Everybody has a specific style, like in the top 10 right now. But I'm really confident anyway because I get my strategy going. I've been cooking a little bit for a few fights, and I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Well, I know you're not about to reveal that after you spent all the time putting it together. So I can't wait to see what that's about. How soon are you looking to get back in the cage?
Hopefully before the end of the year. I think it all depends about what's going to happen with the belts, so who John Jones is going to fight. But hopefully I'm going to fight end of the year, maybe Gustafsson or Jones. If I have any chance fighting Jones, it will be amazing.
If you end up in a position at the end of the year where you're fighting Jones or Gus and you win that fight, could you have ever foreseen within 12 months that you would realistically be probably fighter of the year, given like how quickly you came on the scene, your resume, how you did what you did? Could you have ever foreseen yourself being in that sort of a position a year ago when you were like, say, just trying to get a fight with Titan and were struggling to get anyone to even take the fight?
Oh no, not in a year, not in this time frame. Of course, the time frame it's really crazy because it was really everything happened really fast. But I also choose all the right opponents. And that's why everything happened like this.
Seeing your success and your translation of your power from heavyweight down to light heavyweight, do you ever wish that you had made a drop a lot sooner, down to light heavyweight?
I mean, the light heavyweight is a really shallow division, so of course it helped. It helped a lot, but I don't know. It's difficult because I had also some great win against some really tough guys.
Absolutely. What's the power translation like? You're used to getting hit by guys 260 pounds, 265 pounds, and exchanging in the pocket with guys that size. Do you notice a major difference when you're getting hit by these light heavyweights?
Say again? I
said, do you notice a difference in the power between light heavyweight and heavyweight, just in your exchanges after spending so much time at heavyweight, competing with guys, 260, 265 pounds? Are the shots a little bit easier to take at 205?
I think in between heavyweight and light heavyweight people, the strongest hitting guy that I met was AJ. Anthony Johnson was really like had really the heaviest hand ever. Even when I was, training in Netherlands with all those kickboxers, like the best kickboxer in the world, or every place I've been training, AJ was the guy with the heaviest hand. But of course, it depends also the way people strike. There some people are more technical, some people give everything in each strike. But I think I have a good power, in light heavyweight. And I think when I was in heavyweight, I was maybe slower too. So it also affects my KO power, I think.
How have things changed for you, Volkan? Do you get recognized more now when you're out in public? How are you adjusting to the media obligations? How have things changed over the past year for you in that regard?
Yeah, it's a new life. It's a new life. Everything is different. But I'm enjoying the transition to, of course, some people, stop me in the street or in the airport after the fight, and I get a lot of warm welcome from my people also back home in Switzerland. So it's really great. It's really great.
One last question, man. How does it feel to be standing up pretty much as the face of Swiss mixed martial arts right now, and having that opportunity?
I'm humbled. I'm really humbled, and I'm really happy at the same time because I can also maybe starts to, it's gonna be a snowball effect. Everything's gonna follow. Everything's gonna follow in my country. A lot of fighters also will follow and enter into the UFC. So I'm really happy about it, and I'm trying to do my best so can develop the sport in here.
Awesome. Listen, I want to thank you for giving us some of your time, as you always do. I really appreciate it, Volkan, and best of luck, and I hope to see you back in there real soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care and have a great night.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. This guy might have had the fastest rise to success I've ever seen.
When we started this thing, we always talked about fighters having success and then coming back to the podcast. Yeah. We've been talking about it a little bit in the last few podcasts about how satisfying it's been. But this is just beyond that. Like, I was just sitting around with my friends on Saturday night. And just like, this is the guys on the show, and we're just super proud to see him just go in there and just clean house. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's cool to watch, man. It's cool. It's just been so quick. Like, can you name anybody? Can you think of anybody who's like burst on the scene and kind of took over in that fashion?
John Jones. That's it. Like quick kills and of legends.
I guess like Connor too. Maybe that was about
Very few people.
Very few people come in and like do what he's done. Mm-hmm. Nobody really does what he's done. It's like under a minute. You dispatched of like 2 of the top 5 light heavyweights in the world
and didn't take any damage.
0 damage.
Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah. It's amazing. And
Picked up a bonus,
so
extra $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing good, Mm-hmm. Apparently, you walked out with like I was seeing like unofficial reports of like $160,000 after bonuses and stuff. That's a good day.
And you don't want to I don't want to trash Jimmy Manuel or anything, but like it's new blood, new life in the light heavyweight division.
People I don't think like he's fought at heavyweight. They haven't learned yet, but they're learning. You do not want to stand there and exchange with this man. He's used to getting hit by big, powerful dudes with pop.
Yeah,
he's gonna take that shot most likely. It's like
he's not afraid to be in that like pocket and chasing people down or on his back feet.
Like you heard what he said. He's like he hits the hardest. But like you're training with Anthony Johnson on a daily. Like you're getting hit real hard.
I was thinking AJ was there for the for just to see what was going to go down with Jones and I'm sure he was, but at the same time, it was awesome to see him supporting Volkan like that.
Sure, yeah.
It was just the whole press thing.
In the gym, they're probably like they're 205ers, right? They're probably training together often.
Yeah.
So you would imagine they probably get along on some level.
Yeah, he knows better than anybody.
Yeah. Anyway, we will. It's a good interview. We're going to be back. We'll have Jose Shorty Torres, the birthday boy, up on the podcast, and we'll look forward to see what he's got to talk about. So stay with us. We're going to be right back with Jose Shorty Torres.
Shorty Torres makes Titan FC history, becoming the first ever 2-division champion, flyweight and bantamweight.
What's up, Fight House fans? We are back with the birthday boy, Jose Shorty Torres. Happy 25th, Jose. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming back to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. How's everything? How's the birthday going?
So far so good. I'm down in St. Louis and with my fiance, and it's nice, man. Just being able to relax and kind of just be alone, in the sense of not fighting, not training, being around surrounded by a bunch of people, just spending some alone time. So it's nice.
Nice, man. Good stuff. I know you had a party Saturday. How'd that go? I seen on your social media you were talking about it. How'd everything go at your party?
Dude, everything went well. I went to watch the fights at Output, which is one of my sponsors, and after that went to an after party at a place called Estate. And I mean, that place is packed, so It was even a struggle just to get get my people in.
Right.
And but the only reason I threw a party is because I was down in Florida with my team while they were competing, and 3 other guys in my team had a birthday the same week, and then mine was Wednesday. They're like, "Oh, mine's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh, mine's next Wednesday. You want to all hang out?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I used my name, and dude, we threw a last-minute party, but it was awesome. I was really happy about it.
Nice, man. I'm glad to hear it went well. It's good. It's good when the birthday celebrations go as planned. How's everything been with the injuries, the rehab and stuff? Everything healing up well?
So far, I haven't fallen, so that's a good thing. Rehab's been going great. I broke, for people who don't know, I broke my right hand in my last fight, and I also tore my MCL, my right leg. I mean, everything's good. I have 1 more month until the doctors officially clear me with both my hand and my knee. So I'm just really excited because I'm at that middle point where I'm able to do a lot of things. I just can't take much impact on it yet. So I'm just like, oh, I feel good. They're like, no, sit down. I'm like, fine. So I'm really excited to get back into training, but I tell people I'm not going to fight until November because I want to be able to make sure that September, when I am fully ready to start punching things again, or people in the face, which I'm really excited for. I want a full 2-month training camp. I want to recover once. I don't want to bang it up, fighting possibly in September, October, and then having to do another 4-month layoff just to get back to it. So I want to be able to recover just once and fully and as much as possible, and just have a great fight in November.
Sounds good. Is that going to be with Titan?
So I don't know. I'm really right now, the biggest campaign I'm trying to go for is there's a fight in the Cormier-Jones card, which was Eric Shelton and Jared Brooks.
Yep.
Jared Brooks won a very controversial split decision, and a little backstory is Jared Brooks and I both were trying to fight Ian McCall. We were doing that last-minute call-up since Ian McCall's opponent backed out. Jared Brooks got the call over me. He was 12-0. I was 5-0 with only one championship. Hey, man, so be it. Congratulations. So he got the call. So I was a little butthurt about that. So I was like, oh, man, the guy got the call, and he fought Eric Shelton. He won a controversial split decision where I thought it went the other way. And it was one of those things I was like, man, this guy got the call over me, and this is how he fights. Man, I want to fight him. Like, I'm even more butthurt. I got to fight this guy. This guy, even though I know he has a lot of talent, I know he has a good repertoire of skills, I just don't think he's anywhere near my level, and I want to show the UFC that I can make a highlight film out of him.
Well, you guys are certainly stirring the pot on social media. I caught on Instagram you guys had a little bit of engagement. You were a little bit more PG-13 with your language, but he had some choice words for you, and you guys had a few exchanges. What do you take from that, like from the social media exchanges? Anything at all, or do you see anything, read anything into it, or is it just what it is?
I don't take anything personal to it. It is just promotion, and I don't know him, he doesn't know me, so words can be spread, and it really doesn't matter. But it's one of those things that when he was arguing with me, it shows how easily I can get into his head, and it showed how easily, I can really just intellectually beat him in a conversation. It kind of reminded me of arguing with a teenager where you already beat them to the point, and they're like, oh, well, I got nothing else to say, so I'm going to talk about balls and every other, body part that shouldn't be put on live social media where possibly kids can read it, So I was like, oh, man, this is easy. I kind of feel bad picking on you on social media, and I'm going to feel the same way fighting you, hopefully in November. I'm really trying to campaign to fight him in November from Madison Square Garden, but it's really whatever the fans want. I think right now that's what the fans want. It's a heated battle. You know me, I'm a humble person. I'm not trying to start problems with people, but one, this is one way to do it. Get the fans included in conversations, and two, I really don't believe he's a skilled fighter, at least compared to me. So I want to represent, show my skills against him.
Is any of this like a stem of frustration for you? Like stemming from frustration? Because I know this is a campaign you've been at for a while now. You wanted this right after you won your first title belt. It passed you by. Then you won the second one. It passed you by again. And then you were reaching out to them, and it passed you by again. And now you're watching guys. For instance, Roberto Sanchez, the LFA flyweight champion, and he got signed. He's fighting in Mexico, and you're seeing these guys get their opportunity. Does this start to feel personal for you?
It's starting to feel really, really biased and political. It's one of those things that I don't have a manager, and I'm not known for being in a big gym. I do travel and train, but I'm not part of any real big popular gym like Drive Favors Team Alpha Male or Jackson Wink, where they have multiple guys. So I feel it's a two-part thing. The having a manager, you have a guy hacking at someone every single day, hacking at someone to get them in, or they've already have a bunch of other great fighters in their team. Same thing with MMA gyms, to where if for example, McMahon or Sean Shelby, like, we're looking for a fighter, let's call this manager because they usually have many great guys, or let's call this team because they usually have already a bunch of UFC fighters. So it has to be someone else that'd be willing to fight last minute. And I'm not a part of that. I do represent myself. I train at a small local gym in Chicago. I'm always trying to push and promote more than really what any other UFC fighter does now, unless they're a champion. So it's getting a little political and biased. Plus, Conor McGregor, he's one of the most famous, he is the most famous right now MMA fighter in the world. He was 14-1 when he claimed Cage Warriors double weight class champion. I was 5-0 and the first ever Titan FC double weight class champion. So I created history, but now 3 times as fast. That doesn't deserve any respect.
Well, on top of that, you have your whole... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, wait, man, I was 5-0, 2 double weight class champion, right. 2 guys I fought were 18-2 that's never been knocked out. I knocked them out in 86 seconds. The next guy 17-7, never been finished. Given I didn't finish him, but I dominated him for 5 rounds with a broken hand and torn MCL. So that both came to me in the first round. So it's one of those things. It's like, hey man, what else do I have to do? Now I'm just fighting guys.
And is that a frustrating thing for you, like to know that you're fighting but you're not seeing the progression? I mean, you're obviously seeing progression in your skill, but as far as your career is concerned.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I really do feel that they're looking at the number instead of my actual resume. The record of people I've beaten, it's only 5-0, but their records combined were 50-19. Most of the time, you don't get that until you have maybe 10+ fights.
True.
I fought some really, really talented and experienced guys. I never shied away from a fight, and I actually called out fights that I was a huge underdog until the day of the fight. People were like, "Oh man, this guy actually has a chance of winning." So it's really weird because I'm doing everything the UFC wants, but they're not calling me. So is there something behind it that I don't know about? Have I pissed someone off that now I'm not getting the call? So and now I'm getting the call for the Contender Series, which is awesome. I'm happy I'm now in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I have no issues with the Contender Series for any other fighter but myself. Again, it's a great show. It's promoted a lot of people. It's gotten a lot of people inside the UFC, but I don't want to put all that pressure on myself of I'm trying to get in the show. I do a great performance, and now I still don't get the call. What's like, hey, man, I could have just fought for Titan FC. I might as well just kept on building my resume and defending my championship belts. Plus, I really do believe the Contender Series is more for prospects that haven't gotten a title shot in their local promotion like LFA, Titan, and so on, or veterans trying to get back into the UFC. They're second or last chance to get back in there. So, with my resume, I honestly don't believe I need the Contender Series.
Do you feel like turning down something like the Contender season or series could further set you back for even further? Like if someone takes that personally or somebody rubs somebody the wrong way, was there ever a concern of that? Of like, if I turn these guys down, then maybe I get even more blackballed if that's what they're doing.
I mean, it could. Yeah, it honestly could be that where if I don't take the Contender Series, it might be pushing me back a little more. But it's also the fact of if I fight for them, it's not a guarantee that I'm getting called up.
Also true.
I might as well face the same type of talent in the Titan FC and keep on defending my belt and keep on building my resume that way. And maybe there's another opportunity, whether it be for the UFC or for another promotion. If eventually the UFC doesn't want me, then I have to face the fact, and I eventually have to start looking somewhere else.
Yeah, and I was about to ask you, like, how long do you wait this out? Like, what's your time frame where it's like, okay, I want the UFC, that's my first choice. I've been lobbying for it, but I also want to make money and I want to have some things in life, and I may have to go in a different direction. How long are you willing to wait?
Yeah, I don't know. I have been getting my foot in the door, and Mick has been calling to give me the Contender Series. I did get one last-minute notice UFC fight, but I'm injured. So right now I'm just 100% trying to focus on rehab and trying to let them know, like, hey, man, I'm not fighting until November. As much as I would love to fight September and October and get another fight after that sometime in December, I got to make sure I'm healthy. I'm 25 years old, and, after this injury, it's kind of taught me that I'm not immortal. I'm just human, and eventually I'm going to get hurt, and it's not going to last forever. So I want to be able to treat my body and take care of it as much as possible. I don't want to rush into things or anything. So, I want to be able to fight in November, and if I don't get a call by the end of the year, I think that's something I have to, sit down and talk to, my team about and figure out what's next for me.
While you were sidelined, you've been very active on social media. And one thing I noticed through your social media I thought was really cool was the Team Shorty fundraiser. You were selling Team Shorty tees and stuff. Talk to me about that and what that was all about.
Yeah, dude, it was really awesome. I actually, so I have my own clothing brand, which is Team Shorty Clothing. And my website, JoseShortyTorres.com, what I decided to do was, my gym Combat Dough is a local gym in Cicero in the Chicagoland area. And, we're all a Latino community. We all don't have a lot of money. So we wanted to travel down to Florida, as we do almost every year, to compete at a world kickboxing tournament. And, some of the guys weren't able to go because, just overall money issues. It's a 20-hour trip if you're driving, probably 200 plus if you're flying, and plus hotel and the fees of everything in the tournament, hand wraps, all that stuff. So it costs a lot of money. So for me, trying to do that tournament when I was a kid, I'd do a lot of fundraisers. I had to ask a lot of people for help, and given I worked for it, but it was very, very tiring, very exhausting. I wasn't able to focus on training as much. So what I decided to do was 20% of all my earnings would go to the kids, teenagers, and adults at my gym. And, even though we only raised $250 is much more than what they started with. It's more than what they had. So I was able to pay for all the tape and gauze and pay for little fees while we were down there. It's awesome to know that I was able to help that because, again, I struggled to try to get money for that tournament as well when I was a kid, when I did it. And the first year I took second place, but the second year I was able to dominate and win it. Because of that tournament, I was able to qualify for different tournaments and be, more reputable now as a professional. So it's a huge learning experience for those kids, not even just for fighting, but just to know that they have the confidence now to get in there in the cage. It might have been their first fight or their 20th or whatever fight. It's an awesome experience to be able to give back and see these kids go in there and have fun and learn if they like fighting or not, or just build the confidence now they can do more things in life than just being afraid to step in there. So it was real cool, man. We raised a lot of money, and I'm really excited to do another fundraiser, hopefully very, very soon.
Sweet, man. Listen, I want to thank you for taking some time to talk with me, and you always give us time, man. That's super cool. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you back in there in November kicking some ass, man.
Oh, no problem, man. I can't wait. I'm actually big news is I'll be starting my own podcast very, very soon.
Right. Well, when's that happening?
I gotta wait on Lou. That's actually, I'm doing it with Lou Tradition, Louis Giordano, and we're trying to get our design out first. Hopefully, once we get our design that same week, we can, upload the podcast. But
sweet.
It's called Lou and Shorty, Emotionally Unstable, and the logo is a big spoon and a little spoon. So we're really, really excited to come out. It's gonna be like System of a Down, where it's like randomness in the beginning, the message in the middle, randomness at the end. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna talk a lot of snacks, so people will get easily offended. Please don't tune in.
Awesome, man. I look forward to it, and we'll definitely be sharing it, and I'll be tuning in, man. I can't wait. It sounds like it'll be great.
That'll be awesome, man. I really appreciate all the help, and I'm more than happy to do it whenever.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot again for your time, Jose, and all the best, brother.
No problem, man. Same. Talk to you soon.
Take care, man.
Bye.
I always say it. I've interviewed the guy a few times, but I don't know if there's anybody else I'd rather, I want to see get their shot, Yeah. When some people just deserve it, and it's like, hey, he deserves it.
Well, he has his mindset. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and it's true. Like if he's 5-0, what's the rush? Yeah.
And I love his smack talk because he's so nice, but he's not. He completely will mix it up. He did it with Farkhad Sharipov to get the fight, and now he's doing it with Jared Brooks. And Jared Brooks was calling him a hoe and stuff, and he's like, hey man, I'm just glad you want to fight me. That's good news, And that's half my battle done. And he's so polite about the smack talk. Yeah, it's so funny, to hear someone mellow and their tone is very smooth, and you could. I don't know. It's pretty funny. He's pretty good with that.
How long would you wait if you were him? How long would you give yourself before you just sign that Bellator contract and you just go over to Scott and say, Scott, come on, take care of me, man? You know what?
I would wait a bit. If I was him, I would wait. And I'll tell you why. Because he's not a gatekeeper.
No, exactly.
He's 30-1 in his last, including his amateur. He's won 30 fights in a row. He's going to be good. Really good. Really, really, really good. So I would hold out if I was him because I think there's some real money for him. If we look at the Bellator model, Bellator, there are people getting paid big money, but those are people from the UFC.
Yeah.
They weren't homebred Bellator guys making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just not what's happening, right? Yeah. Those are guys that established their name in a different promotion, have come back, and they're getting paid, and that's just what it is. Yeah. I would wait. I think there's big money for him in the UFC. I think it's worth the wait. He's only 25.
And he's avoiding that whole cluster. I don't want to swear here, but on 135 right now, it's just kind of a log jam right now.
Yeah, and I think he's better suited for 125. He makes the weight easily.
Yeah, it's true.
He won't be too much of an issue for him. He'll be better size proportion to everybody else in the division. At 35, he's going to run into some big guys. He doesn't make that weight without a problem. I don't even think he's really cutting when he's making 135, to be honest. So I would wait. I'd probably wait. I would wait it out at least probably 12 to 18 months. And then I would. After that, maybe start searching in other directions. So anyway, we will. It's another good interview. I always love having Jose on the show. Super cool guy, and we will be back with Stephen Merrill, who is 4-0 and getting ready to compete with LFA. It's going to be an excellent fight. Who is he up? I can't remember who he's up against now. It slipped my whole thought process. But anyway, we'll be back with Stephen Merrill. It's going to be a great conversation. Stay with us. What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with Steve Merrill, 4-0. He's getting ready to compete against Emeka Ifekandu at LFA 19. How you doing, Steven? Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Nah, no problem, man. Happy to have you. First of all, man, I saw on social media there, happy anniversary, 5 years. I guess it's been with your partner. Is that what it said?
Yeah. Me and my girlfriend Jordan Mott. Yeah, we've been together since, I believe our first date was going to the midnight premiere of Dark Knight Rises.
Nice.
With Heath Ledger. So, yeah, it's, so you know it's been a minute.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. First thing I wanted to find out was how you caught the nickname The Surgeon, man. That's some methodical stuff. How'd you happen to catch that?
Honestly, so I was getting ready to fight for amateur title for Rick Tassler, and we were just filling out paperwork, and he said, nickname, and I said, don't have one. And he said, you better hurry up and find one, or I'm going to give one to you, And so I sat there and thought about it for a second, and I ended up going with The Surgeon. I like the S, so Stephen the Surgeon, so I like the double S, and I've had a bunch of surgeries in my life. I had 2 collapsed lungs when I was 14 years old, and third corrective surgery, all within about 3-4 months of each other. Just a whole bunch of in and out of the emergency room, being a dumb kid and stuff, and so I've had a bunch of surgeries, so I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. So
how did you catch 2 collapsed lungs? How'd that happen?
So I was actually I was born with what they call blebs. They're just like little air bubbles that grow on the outside of the lung.
Oh, okay.
And every once in a while they just give away, and yeah, that was how it happened. No forced trauma or nothing. Just woke up one morning and was having trouble breathing. A couple of days later, we go to the emergency room, and it was all the way collapsed. So chest tube in the hospital 5 days later, and boom.
Wow. Interesting story, man. Well, we're glad all is good.
Yeah.
One of the things that was most interesting, man, when I started to look into you a little bit, I noticed, from what I could find anyway through Tapology and stuff, you were 1-2 as an amateur, and now you're 4-0 with 4 first-round finishes as a pro. What do you credit to that change and to the success?
Honestly, so my Tapology doesn't have all my amateur fights,
right.
And neither does mixedmartialarts.com. I don't know. I was only 10-7 or something like that as an amateur, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've joined, and so the big thing is I was always fighting without contact lenses until my last 2 amateur contests.
Okay.
So I hadn't, and my vision is absolutely terrible. I actually just went and got a dilated eye exam for the South Dakota State Athletic Commission yesterday, and the doc comes in. He says, "Can you see that?" I have my contacts on. He says, "Can you see that letter over on the wall?" He says, "I already know the answer, but and I said, "Yeah, no." I didn't think so. So,
right.
But so that was probably the biggest thing, was just the contacts, and then I didn't really have a gym. I was training with a fellow named Jason Pochinski a few miles away from home, and we basically just would go to a local wrestling complex, throw on shin guards and 12-ounce gloves, mouthpiece cup, and then just spar stand-up with each other, and then that was about it. That was my fight training. And then I ended up finding Master Justin Pfeifferlich over here at Fort Dodge, Iowa, and that's actually where I am right now. I'm actually in the gym, sweating up a storm. But I found him, and I go 4 days a week here with him. I go Sundays with our local wrestling club, and then my other 2 off days, I just find something to do. Normally on Tuesdays, I go and train with UFC fighter Michael McBride.
Okay.
He's kind of been taking some time since his last fight with Scott Holtzman. Pretty tough back and forth fight, and he took some damage, so he's been taking some time off. But usually Tuesdays, I go and roll with him over at his gym. So, and honestly, that's just what it is. It's my girlfriend Jordan, who we talked about earlier.
Right.
She works 40-plus hours a week. She's an assistant manager at a general store about 25 miles from home. We got 1 vehicle between us. Honestly, just 2 weeks ago, a vehicle that we had bought, it was just an 04 Impala, but it was, only had 70,000 miles on it. And I was going to meet the guys for some wrestling practice, and I actually rear-ended a semi at about 40 mile an hour.
That's no good.
Yeah, and so I ended up splitting my head open and missed my last pro fight, which would have been the 28th. I was going to co-main event against a kid that's also going to be on LFA, Nate Enders.
Right, yeah.
And yeah. And so I had to withdraw from that, but I got my head wrapped up right now for all my training and stuff. Stitches came out last Thursday, but the fight was last Friday, and there's just no way it would have worked, Yeah,
you do yourself more damage. Better to just take the time.
Yeah. And take an L on my record for nothing, just wouldn't have been worth it, Doctor come in and stop it halfway through the round or something.
This is your 4th fight of the year, your 5th fight in 10 months. That's a very active schedule. Why take on a schedule like that? Why not take a little bit more time in between your fights?
Honestly, I stay ready. Like I came in today, weigh-ins aren't for, 15 days, 16 days, whatever it is. And I came in today at 141. I only got to be 36. That's 5 pounds over. That's what I came into practice at, and I'm sweating up a storm right now, so I'll probably walk out at 38, 39.
Right.
And then so I'm always ready. I'm always in the gym. I really, really enjoy what I do. And I personally, it's, my girlfriend, she works the long hours, and, that to me, to make it up to her, I got to stay busy with my schedule. You know what I mean? It's got to be a mutual thing,
Absolutely. Is this a schedule you're going to look to maintain after this fight? Do you always try to stay this active, or is it as the fights get more important and your record grows and more things become on the line, do you start to take a little bit more time and pick things a little more carefully?
Honestly, I don't see any reason to mess up a good formula.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if the UFC called me or, Bellator or somebody like that and said, if after I beat Aoife Candu, if they call me and say, hey, we want you on the card, but not going to be till January,
right.
Well, I might have to think about that. And if I can't fight in the meantime, then maybe I can't. But, for an opportunity like that, I think I would, I'd probably have to wait, so. But
speaking of the Aoife Candu fight, sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
No,
go ahead, sir. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I was just saying. Speaking of the Aoife Candu fight, what do you know about Amika?
So I've watched some of his. The only fights that they have online of his on YouTube that I could find were just his amateur fights. He fought Hafian Stotts to a decision. I can't remember. He fought another kid to a decision. He reminds me of my last opponent, Jeffrey Molina, a little bit. Molina's more of a natural 25er, I think. But this kid, he's, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's 31, much older than me.
Right.
But Aoife Candu is, he's a little bit bigger. I think he's 5'8", a little bit thicker. He's grown into himself a little bit. Molina wasn't but 19 or 20 years old, so I think we're both a couple of grown men going in there, both big for the weight class, I think. He's got pretty sharp stand-up, and then to me, he just seems, pretty good everywhere else, kind of just good enough everywhere else. Pretty solid takedown defense against the cage. Open space, maybe not so much, but puts his combinations together well. Keeps his eyes, keeps his chin tucked, keeps his eyes on the target. He's a pretty good challenge. It's a good step up, and I think it's the right promotion to have it. So
stylistically, how do you feel like you match up with him? Like when you look at your skill set and you align that with his?
I feel like I match up really good with him. My stand-up's only getting better every day. Master Pfeifferlich, he runs the Taekwondo school first and foremost, and it's not a McDojo type Taekwondo. This is Olympic sparring Taekwondo. The man just took third at nationals in his weight class, and he had neck surgery 6 months ago.
Wow.
So you're dealing with a tough SOB, and so my stand-up just gets better and better every single day with him, and so I feel like with almost everybody I go out there and fight, I throw everything with power on the feet. I look to do damage. I don't really see the point in any setup strikes, I guess. Maybe to close the distance or something like that, some feint stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, when I throw a body kick or when I throw a head kick, I'm looking to snatch your liver. I'm looking to, smash your head,
True.
So with my second pro fight and my third pro fight, I both outstruck those kids, and they ended up shooting in on me, and being a jiu-jitsu guy. Hey, let's do that. No problem with me. So, but that just shows me that, my stand-up's improving to a point where they don't want to stand up with the jiu-jitsu guy. You know what I'm saying?
So that's a good problem to have.
Exactly. So, my jits is good. It's, it's my ace in the hole. But stand-up's getting better every day. I feel like I match up well enough with him. I think he probably throws a few people off with his height, being 5'8". That's kind of tall for a bantamweight. Dom Cruz was tallest bantamweight champ, and I believe he's 5'8". And I walk around at just a shade above 5'9". So I don't think he's gonna have the normal height and reach advantage that he's used to. So I think that's gonna throw him on the feet a little bit. And then just my style's awkward on the feet too. So I think the awkwardness will be enough to kind of throw him off. And then I just whenever I don't see any 35-pounder out there that once I get my hands around them, it's like Khabib style. It's Nurmagomedov style. It's or Maya. If I got to pull you down into half guard. But my grip, if I get my hands connected, my grip's going to be tight enough no matter what, and we're going to get into a grappling exchange. And then once we do, I'm going to catch you.
Speaking of catching, how do you see yourself finishing the fight?
Probably from the back. Probably another rear naked. A lot of guys tend, once they get up against the fence, they tend to try and they tend to reach up over the head instead of, pummeling underneath, or, they try and widen their base, and for me, I'm a big 35er, upper body wise and stuff. I'm pretty solid, but my legs are thin, but they're really strong. I have size 12 shoes, so I can use good use of my feet, hooks, butterfly hooks, little things like that against the fence that, most guys, they aren't ready for it. We have a cage, a nice cage mounted, 4-mounted cage here in our gym, we use every single day. And, I work takedowns against the fence every single day with, we got a 185-pound pro that's, he just won this last Friday, and he's a black belt in Taekwondo and stud amateur wrestler. And, he's putting me through the ringer every day on takedown defense. So, if I can hit him, get him down every once in a while, he's walking around 200 pounds. Like I said, I came in at 140. If I can get him down, I feel pretty confident about getting Aoife Candu down. And most of the time, I just happen to find my way to the back.
Sweet, man. Look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'll definitely be tuned in. I want to thank you for taking some time to give to us today. I know you're a busy guy. Fight time's approaching. So thanks again for the time, and best of luck in the cage, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Fight House is amazing. Give them a follow, guys. I really appreciate you having me on the podcast, man. This was actually a really fun experience. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, huh?
No, it was great, man. I really enjoyed having you, and hope we can have you back soon, and maybe again after the fight or something to talk about the fight.
Absolutely, man. I'd love it.
All right, brother. Best of luck.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Stephen Merrill. It's a name to remember. He's 4-0, 4 first-round finishes.
If there's anything like Volkan, he'll be a champion in 6 months? 6
to 8 months, right? No, yeah. I love that's the one thing I love about LFA. Like as much as you start talking to some UFC guys, it's pretty cool. Getting in conversation with them a little bit. But I love these up and comers, man. I love these guys that are like 4 or 5 and they're hungry. They know what they want, and they're going for it. Is what got me into LFA in the first place was just the level of compete they bring. They're really going for it.
There's rarely a bad fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Rarely a bad fight. It's usually guys that realize where they are and what's going on, and what's at stake. So, really, I enjoy those kind of fights, man. I enjoy fights where guys are trying to seize their opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to watch.
It is.
Next up, we're going to have AJ McKee join us. We're going to talk with him. He's got an upcoming fight, Bellator 182. So stick around. It's going to be an interesting conversation. We'll be right back with AJ McKee.
That's called the Miko Crow Cop kick. My dad taught me that one. So shout out, Miko. Thanks.
Congratulations, man. Can't wait to see you in the cage again. AJ McKee, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with the undefeated AJ McKee, one of Bellator's finest. He'll be meeting Blair Tugman at Bellator 182 on August 25th, I believe. What's going on, AJ? Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, man. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. How's everything? How's camp? How's your preparations been?
Great, man. I did a workout yesterday. It didn't make me feel too good.
It didn't make you feel too good?
Nah, it made me feel like crap, man. But, it's like a little sprint. It's a sprint exercise workout, but it just takes the life out of you.
Hey, man, good to push yourself before the fight so you're good when you're in there, right?
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're not ready for the fight. But then you do your rounds the next day, and you're like, oh, I'm actually quite ready.
You're like, I'm feeling nice. How's things been away from training in the cage? You've been getting any paintballing in, and I know you're big into your cars and stuff. You've been zoning out into that.
Lately, I haven't been paintballing. I've been going with my Honda a lot lately. I'm actually rebuilding it right now, so I'm going to pick up another Honda probably tomorrow.
Sweet.
And drop mine off tonight.
Nice. I noticed through your social media that your family made an addition of one more. You got a little brother. How things been with that little guy?
Dude, he's a monster. This kid's a month old, and I kid you not, we got to cut the feet part off of his onesies because his feet are too big to fit in him.
I like it.
His hands are huge. This little dude's going to be a monster, man.
I like it. He's going to give you somebody to mentor down the road. We'll see how long that lasts. Fair enough, man. You got a big fight coming up against Blair Tugman. What do you know about him as an opponent? He's a scrapper. He's a wrestler. That's about it. Like every other fighter, fight. So I'm going to go in there, fight, and put him down. Nice. Where do you feel like you're going to have advantages when you step in there in this fight? I would say striking is always my advantage. Takes me down. My jiu-jitsu is my advantage. So it's going to be a fun fight, honestly. It's going to be another fight where I get to go out there and show something new. What's next that will be this will be 9 in a row for you if your prediction is correct, which usually you look for the knockout. That would make it 7 finishes. What's your plan after this fight? Come home and drive my Honda. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not really sure. I take it one fight at a time, see what Bellator's talking about. For me, all I can do is continue to keep racking up wins, and the closer I get to being 23, the closer that I get to breaking that record of being the youngest champ ever at 22. So I've got until April. That's still plenty of time for me. But I've got over, I think it's 8 months or so. So yeah. I've got plenty of time. And I'm going to just keep racking up wins and then building a name for myself and really getting my name out there. Do you feel like Bellator is in line with your plans as well? Like, do you feel like the level of competition you're getting to get you to that end goal by next April, that you're in line with the people you're fighting, like as far as timeline goes? At the moment, yeah, it's the
perfect line, It is a business as much as it is a sport, and this is how I take care of my family. So
right.
We're going to have to sit down and have some serious conversations, and yeah, that's when it comes down to that business,
Sure.
At 22, I'm in there fighting grown men, So we're definitely gonna have to sit down and conversate, because once you're champion, there is no easy fight after that. Every fight's gonna be a tough fight, Everyone's got eyes on you, and everyone's coming for you.
True. You said before you had issues with getting bored. Before your last fight, you had said that you had issues kind of falling into that monotonous routine. Are you at all worried with that? If the more people you knock off, you're just coming off a big first round victory. Are you worried about slipping back into that sort of an energy?
Not at the moment, just because I see what's right there. That goal. One of my goals is right there. The father-son fight.
Mm-hmm.
That if there's 8 months, that's happening within the next four months. My father's fighting in October, so after he fights in October, let's go a November or a December card. Get him on a Bellator card with me, and then I don't know. There's a lot. There's many things that can happen, and so much. Or we can wait for the father-son fight until after I get my belt. So there's a lot of things that are up in the air, and a lot of things that want to be done. But man, me only being 22, there's so much time.
Sure.
There's just so much time. We can literally pick and choose what we want to do, and when things want to be switched out, and if something we don't like, then hey, okay, we can just chill.
Have you expressed yourself to Bellator as in the fact that you want to be the youngest champion, and these are goals that you've set out for yourself? Do they seem in line with that, of allowing you that freedom to make that happen?
I've expressed it to a couple of people. Mainly, I tell my dad. That's kind of his job, I feel, and him being my coach, him being my coach, my manager, and everything. When he feels I'm ready, he'll let that chain go, and he'll say, go get it. So that's pretty much what I'm waiting for. I'm just going to continue working my ass off and climbing those ranks, beating people up, knocking people out, and taking names, and entertaining, giving the people what they want.
Absolutely. You were supposed to meet Emmanuel Sanchez. I think it was December of last year.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I thought it was December. Is that a fight that you want back? Do you want to go back and run that back? Like, that was a huge opportunity for you. I had a bit of a name.
That's a fight. That's a question for him. Shit, I signed the contract. I was ready to fight.
Fair enough. Speaking of which, James Gallagher had said that he's going to be vacating and going down to 135. Was it frustrating after all the back and forth and all the shit talk that he would vacate the? Are you
not
there?
At all. Yeah. Not at all. Not that. Like I said, he calls me a pussy, but what actions speak louder than words. Pussies don't finish fights. Pussies don't knock people out. They're like snakes. They're slimy little snakes. They hop on your back and they choke you up. So that's exactly what that little princess is.
What are your thoughts of him? Like, once he's out of your division, once he's no longer a competitor, he's no longer an obstacle in your way of attaining your goals. Do your thoughts change on him at all?
He's not in the way at all. Even if he is in my division, he's below me. He's still trying to get to where I'm at.
Fair enough. I know you want Pitbull. I know obviously he's in your sights. Do you feel like that's something you can get before the end of this year?
It depends, It honestly depends. Everything's timing, just timing and business. We just got to continue to stay focused, take one fight at a time, and keep racking up wins. I feel the end of this year, maybe end of this year, we'll definitely be talking about it. I'll definitely be having a conversation with Bellator about, hey, what's up with the title fight soon,
one thing I've talked about with numerous people, and for me it's something I feel is an issue. Do you notice that so Bellator seems to be putting like a lot of promotion, a lot of energy, and a lot of time behind, former UFC fighters or legends necessarily, that have built up their names, and not so much in like their upcoming talent. Kind of how Brent Primus and Chandler were underneath of the two main events, the title fights and stuff. Do you find that to be an issue of getting the proper promotion for yourself?
Kind of and not really. It depends how they do it. I feel if they've got a huge fight with a big name as main event, and you've got a young guy like me, throw me as co-main.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a fight that I'm going to go out there and put on a show. You're going to get fireworks, and you still got your main event.
Absolutely. That's funny that you said that. That's what I thought too.
Put me on that card, or put me on that card in putting on guys like Gallagher on shitty New York cards. The New York card was amazing, but putting shitty guys like Gallagher on New York cards.
Was that frustrating at all for you and yourself, even with that? Like to sit back and like know that you spent from day one building your legacy here in Bellator, like you were the young prospect, and then to see him kind of get and others get pushed onto that main stage of New York, while you're kind of on the side waiting for like where am I at type of thing. Did you feel that at all?
It was, but it wasn't, because if you look at my fight before that,
right,
that was when I was going through the thing of, I don't want to fight. So I can't really blame them for that. Why? Because in this game, nobody looks at you for, okay, you're 8-0, you got 6 first-round finishes. Okay, if my last 2 fights were decisions, they're not looking at those 6 fights that were finishes.
Sure.
They're looking at those last 2. We're like, hey, those last 2 fights were decisions. They were boring as shit. So it's all about your last fight. Everyone judges you off of your last fight, not 4 fights or how many finishes. You are what you put out is your last hoorah.
How speaking of which, how much of a monkey was it off your back to go out there and get the knockout? Like you had been steamrolling everybody, and then all of a sudden, you had the little hiccup, or maybe mentally you weren't in the place you needed to be, and you're riding out some decisions and stuff. Was it a big relief for you to get back out there and get that first round knockout?
I would say not a relief. It was nice to know. It's nice to know when everything's back on track and you can really see it.
Let me ask you this: did you feel like some people were kind of like fair weather fans, like you were having a lot of fair weather fans, like when you're knocking everybody out, it was AJ McKee's the biggest prospect coming up in Bellator, he's the next big thing. You get a couple decisions, and all of a sudden people are starting to like immediately question whether you're what they thought you were, and then all of a sudden you get a head kick knockout and everyone's back on the AJ train. Did you kind of get that feeling at all?
No, the feeling I get is, Bellator feeds him, Bellator's taking care of him, he's getting easy fights. Not that I'm getting easy fights, I just make the fights look easy.
Fair.
It's a fight, When you step in that cage, that dude's trying to knock your damn head off with every single punch. He's trying to kick your head off with every single punch. So it's a fight, And anybody can get knocked out in a single punch.
True. Let me ask, where's your motivation level at right now, like today? You said this is something that you occasionally struggled with, but where are you at right now in your headspace?
Honestly, this week, there's been a little monster in me this week, man. I've been going through some stuff, and shit, I've been tearing the gym up a little bit this week.
Do you like to carry that kind of emotion into the fight with you?
No, I don't like to be emotional when I go into the fight. I'm a very emotional person during the camp, but when I step into that fight, that's when everything goes away, and it's time to just take care of business. Everything from a girlfriend issue to parents, to your mother, your father, to your little brother, just everything. As soon as I step in that cage, all of that is irrelevant.
Is that a good feeling for you when you get in there and you're able to just push all that stuff away and get at it?
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's like going into the Matrix. You're going into a place that not many people can go, and I mean, technically you can go in that place. But how are you in that place? Are you controlled in that place versus, or just an open book in that place.
True. Hey, listen, man, I really want to thank you for taking some time and coming back with us. You're always open to us for some of your time, so I really appreciate that, and best of luck in your fight with Blair Tugman, man. I wish you all the best.
For sure. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, AJ.
All right, you too. Have a good one. God bless.
All right, man. God bless. AJ McKee.
Superstar.
I don't know why I just God blessed AJ McKee. I'm not really an overly religious person. I'm not even sure why that came out.
He's a very American boy.
I'll take it, man. It was like, you know, that guy's he's been one of my favorites for a really long time. Really long time. I think that he's the future of the promotion for sure.
He's for sure one of the brightest stars.
Definitely. 22 years old.
And I think Bellator,
so much promise.
The fact that Gallagher is moving down in the weight division is actually really good for Bellator. That way they don't have to.
Good for Bellator. Sucks for us though.
I know, but that way you don't have to destroy the momentum of either fighter.
True.
Yeah.
But they could have done what they did with like Kane and Jr. in the UFC. They kept those guys apart forever.
It's true.
In a shitty heavyweight division at the time too.
Yeah.
And then until it was for a title, then they let them bang it out. You know?
It's true.
Well, anyway, we'll be back with Thanh Le. Looking forward to that conversation. He's coming off a big knockout of Lazar Stojadinovic at the Dana White Contender Series. We'll talk to him about that. He wasn't fortunate enough to pick up a contract night, and I'm sure we'll have to talk about that as well. Yeah. So stay with us. We'll be back with Thanh Le. Enjoy.
Great boxer, skilled boxer. So, Camp and I chose to say, let's just take that away from you. You're not going to beat me with that. Let's beat me with something else, and he couldn't do it. So, really happy with the outcome. Thanks to my team at Mid-City MMA and 50-50 BJJ. Thank you guys so much.
What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with Thanh Le. He's coming off a victory over Lazar Stojadinovic at Dana White Contender Series Week 2. What's going on, Thanh? Thanks for joining us here, man. Thanks for coming back to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I always like being on.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. We're glad to hear that. How's everything on your end? How's everything been? Congratulations on tying the knot, man.
Yeah, it's been great. Back-to-back event. Got a good KO on the show. Got married. Now back to training. So everything's going really good.
Yeah, man. How was the wedding? How did everything go? Was it smooth?
Oh yeah, everything went smooth. Just making sure my job was pretty much making sure wife wasn't too stressed out, and she's pretty laid back, easy going. Her family's great. My family's pretty laid back too. So everything worked out real smooth, real calm, no issues. Food was great. A lot of alcohol. Worked out good.
Yeah, they'd always do. Hey, lots of food, lots of alcohol. It's almost a guarantee for things to work out well, right?
Yep.
What was it like with everything going on with your wedding and stuff like that, to get the call for the Dana White Contender Series and be like, oh, this is my shot, and I have all this other stuff going on while I'm trying to prepare for this? Was that difficult at all?
Oh, no, not at all, man. I tell you what, my wife now, she I really couldn't do this without her. She, before all of this wedding stuff, as far as food, prepping meals, making sure recovery is going right, like, she's the perfect supporter and a perfect wife for this lifestyle. So that works out great. For this whole wedding, fight ordeal, I didn't hear a word about the wedding until after the fight, man. So she knew, how important this is for me, for us, for family, for everything I've based my life around for the last few years. So, I didn't hear a word from her. She, if she needed a question answered, she'd ask it, but otherwise it was easygoing. Everything was relaxed, laid back. I'm sure she was freaking out in the background and behind the curtains and all, but I didn't get to see any of that. She held all that for me. They took care of everything, and all I did was focus on camp, man. Camp was perfect, little bumps and bruises and things like that pop up, but nothing crazy. She did her job and made sure that everything was taken care of, and I didn't really get any of the stress on my end of it. So it was beautiful. I couldn't ask for a better setup. Obviously, I couldn't ask for a better wife. Everything was working great.
Sweet, man. Speaking of your performance that night, what was your thoughts on it? When you critiqued it, what did you think?
Camp and I always go back, whether it's a win or a loss, and break everything down.
Mm-hmm.
Strategic technique-wise, things like that. So, yeah, we had some things we got to fix. A couple things I wasn't happy with personally on the technique side of it. But, obviously the fight ended up great. The biggest takeaway was my thought process in the fight, the way my brain was working, the way my coaches and I were on the same page as far as strategy, as far as being patient and relaxed and waiting for the opening to come. You're dealing with a certain type of fighter in this particular fight, so we had to, for camp, we decided to take his hands away from the fight. If it's, somebody else with a different type of strong suit, we're going to take that away from him. So,
right.
Whatever it is, whether it's hands, whether it's kicks, whether it's takedowns, whether it's grappling, wall work, we're working towards eliminating their strong suit and making him fight me outside of his A game. So for this guy, it happened to be his boxing. We took that away from him, eliminated that with good game planning and with good technique, and it ended up working out well. So.
Were you it was in large part to do with your great lateral movement during the fight. You were moving really, really well, great use of space. Were you surprised at all that he fought you at the distance he did and he didn't bum rush you? Like, he kind of seemed content to fight you at a distance more favorable to you.
If you kind of go back and look at the fight, you'll see that he definitely, in his mind, he wasn't happy fighting at that distance.
Right.
But he didn't have a choice. So what happened was, he did one or two rushes, got me against the cage, two different times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Decided to break away one of the situations just because, he wasn't getting to where he needed to be. He usually likes to break off, work spinning elbows or big shots off of the cage after he pins you up there and gets you to waste some energy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the important things that we focused on, if that situation was to arise, whether he decided to try takedowns or land shots off the cage, where, we're going to protect and cover his weapons and just make sure that we remain relaxed and, take the openings that it gives us. And it worked out well. He wasn't having success on the cage, so we decided to back out and throw shots in both instances. And, so he did end up getting close times when he did decide to come shit in.
Sorry, you're breaking up on me there, Ton. Sorry. He did kind of get close. No problem. I caught you, and you were like, he did kind of get close.
Yeah, he was trying to get close a couple times, but if you see throughout the fight that the big kicks were keeping the distance, because every time he did step in the range, those punishing blows would come. So you'll see a few times where I decided to step in a little bit, play with him back, try to get some reaction, because he was either rushing in completely or keeping in distance and avoiding the longer one too. So that's part of the game. You're going to play that distance game. You're going to play that line and try to get your opponent to overextend. And I wasn't coming out of my comfortability, my comfort zone. So he had to try to make things happen, and that's kind of where the body kicks came in, which led to the big head kick.
I was about to say, how long into the fight did you see the opening for the kick before you actually landed it? Like, did you see him doing anything in particular that made you realize that that's going to be there for you?
That's kind of it's a difficult question, because, when I see the opening,
right,
it's something you might have to take advantage of right away. So the opening was there, as soon as I saw the reaction to my body kicks. But
mm-hmm.
What type of games you play, and where your strikes lead you. So, a lot of body kicks, there were, 2 or 3 that landed flush.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 that landed at his guard, towards the elbow, like bicep kind of area. So I know, there's only 2 people that knew what those felt like. I knew what it felt like, and he knows what it felt like. So we knew that I would know that reaction would come if another body kick is going to head his way. So we decided to feint the body and go high and mix it in with behind our 2. So, yeah, it's kind of twofold. I definitely saw it building up to that.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe his reaction wouldn't have been the same, so we would have had to play a different game at that point.
Fair enough. When it was done and you secured the knockout, were you confident at that point that, like, this could be your night? The contract could be yours? You must have been feeling pretty good about
I'm gonna
it.
be honest with you. I was feeling pretty good about the contract. I was really happy with the way my fight played out. Just like we approach fights, I kind of approach the contract thing. As I'm worried about me, I'm concerned about how my performance went, and I don't really care about anybody else or my opponent or how these other guys fought. I didn't get to see the other knockout until we came home and turned Fight Pass on and everything. So I didn't know, but I figured I wouldn't see another performance as dominant and as strategically planned out, as well executed as I did. But they were looking for a nice drag out fight of the night type situation, and now they gave it to them. So.
Now, even though you didn't land the contract that night, you had to walk out of that place feeling like you were a hair away, like one more big win, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Whether they decide to have me back or I go, decide to fight elsewhere, they see the skill level, they see the performances that I've been putting on and the string of wins that I've been chaining back to back. I mean, not too many people don't get picked up by the UFC that have 7 wins in a row, all first round finishes. So it's going to happen. I'm confident. I know they know me. I know the fans are backing me, and I got a big following, and those guys have been great trying to yell at Dana White for me. So, it's awesome, and the support's been great. So I'm just excited to get in there, fight again, wherever that may be, show another dominant performance, and then wait for that call.
Absolutely, man. Was this kind of like vindicate? The Ultimate Fighter didn't exactly go the way you would have liked, obviously. Did you feel a little bit vindicated by getting back in front of those guys and putting on the performance you did?
Definitely. My first fight to get into the house was nice. I showed some of the techniques that I wanted to. It played out well. Got that second round knockout. The second fight didn't go well. Ended up getting submitted. So obviously you're disappointed, and things didn't go as planned. So you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision on how training's going, the group you have around you. The guys I had at home were phenomenal, and those are still my camp, my team. But you add pieces. You add pieces that are missing. You add pieces that can develop, help you develop a little differently. So I made friends with Ryan Hall on the show, who won that season. He's a good friend of mine that I was going back and forth training to Virginia, and he's coming down to New Orleans, and we've had that good relationship going back and forth. And then my brother and I moved up to Virginia and started a striking program so we could train every day with him. So, obviously that second fight didn't go as planned. You make changes, you get better, and you do the right thing to head in the right path, and it's worked out so far for me. And, it was nice to knock out in front of those guys. It was awesome.
Sorry, you broke up on me there. Said, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of nice to get another knockout in front of those guys. It's a great feeling. Good to show what I got, and I'm excited to do it again.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I wanted to ask you, have you talked to anybody else about what's next for you? Have you received any offers from LFA or anyone like that about a fight?
Yeah. Definitely a lot of offers on the table. A couple things we're going to keep close to the vest for now. It's just so my team and I can discuss and figure out what's the next best career move for me.
Sure.
But I'm the Contender Series knows I'm always always excited to come back. They know I'm obviously ready to fill in for the UFC if somebody was to be out for injury or whatever. So definitely got some offers on the table. Definitely got some plans. We're just making decisions now. So training's going great, and then we've got a few things that we're waiting to hear back from. So in a good position right now, to say the least.
Sweet, man. Well, listen, I want to thank you for giving us some of your time, as you always do. I really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed the fight, man. The performance was flawless. I thought your use of movement and space was incredible. It was just overall, it was a really, really, really good performance. And I can't wait to see you get back in there.
Thank you very much.
Watch you do work again, man.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me, man. Always good talking with you.
Thanks, man. 100%. Love having you on the show. Enjoy the rest of your night, man, and enjoy the married life, sir.
Yes, sir. Take care, man. Thank you.
All right. Take care. I was shocked when he didn't get picked. I thought Sean O'Malley would get picked because I thought they kind of went into that show knowing who they wanted.
It was one of those things I was wondering how it was going to play on the show, like where they were going to have them sitting. Are they going to have a presentation? How was it going to go down? I was like, no, they're just sitting in the back, and then they just come in and pick the guy, in the kitchen area.
Yeah, like I kind of felt for Ton though. Like I won't lie, like I did feel like after O'Malley's performance on LFA, like the viral head kick, whatever, and then he goes out. Like I felt like, oh, they know what they want before this even starts.
Yeah.
If somebody happens to come out with an incredible performance, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they generally go in
and
building cards, knowing who they would like.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that Lazar is a much tougher opponent than
Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think he is too.
Yeah.
But that's also because I really like Lazar.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be biased.
What's that amateur? The boxing is just dangerous, right?
Super cool guy.
He normally flurries, like you said. You were surprised that he didn't bum rush him, but like Ton Lee did a great job. But he said using the leg kicks, keeping it at distance.
Yeah, I was really surprised, man. I was really, really surprised Lazar conceded the distance.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he was just willing to say, okay, let's fight at your distance, which was kind of weird to me, given how dangerous Taekwondo practitioners are with their kicks, especially. So I was shocked by that. I thought he was going to try to push him up against the cage, really take the space, force him to punch, Kind of was the other way. Ton forced him to kick and kind of fight at that range.
But he's got a ton of offers, so he's got tons of options now.
Yeah, can't wait to see him get in the cage.
What did I get picked at 5? It's 5-5, right?
5-5, yeah. 5-5. So we'll see what's next for him. I hope to see him back in there. Great interview. Always like talking to Ton. He's a super nice guy. The guy's been open with us. I remember I reached out to him like the first time I interviewed him, and he was just immediately responded to me like, "Yeah, absolutely, man, no problem." Like, "Oh, your new website? Yeah, 100%, no problem." He's just super nice guy, super cooperative. So I wish that guy nothing but the best. Stay with us. We still have one interview left. We're going to be back with Colby Covington, who has been back in the media with his
some choice words.
So he's got some choice words. He came to the aid of Dana White, who was under ridicule from Tyron Woodley and title fights, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. So we're going to talk to Colby Covington, see where he sits with everything, and should be a good conversation. Real colorful guy. Stay with us. We'll be back with Colby Covington.
The judges score the contest 30-25, 30-26, and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with Colby Covington. What's going on, Colby? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. How's everything been since getting back from Singapore with the fight with Dong Young Kim? How's everything been going for you?
Oh, man, everything's going great, man. Back in South Florida, the weather's beautiful, that beach weather, and, back to training hard at American Top Team, evolving and getting better, so that's always nice.
Yeah, man, you had an incredibly dominant performance over Dong Young Kim. What did you think about your performance that night? Were you happy with it?
It was a C-type performance, C grade. It wasn't my best performance. But it was a win, and it was a dominant win, and I completely outclassed him and embarrassed him. So, it wasn't my best performance, but you should see what I'm going to do to my next opponent.
You've been back in the MMA news just this week with your tweet out to President Dana White about airing out Tyron Woodley. What made you jump out to Dana's defense?
Just Tyron acting real fake. He's trying to point a gun to Dana, saying he's going to leak some stuff if he doesn't do this. Well, I'm going to do the same thing to him. I'm going to put him in the same position and let him know what it feels like to have that same type of bullet to your head or a gun to your head. So, I'm just keeping it real, and he needs to stop. Tyron needs to stop being fake and acting like a diva champ.
When you say fake, in what context do you mean being fake?
Just not being real, man. Not saying the truth and just acting like a hypocrite, You're saying you're going to do something, but when someone says someone's going to do it back to you, then it's a big deal. I'm doing the same thing to you that you're doing to him. So, the guy's a hypocrite. He's a fake. He's a fraud.
I've seen, a little bit of mixed reaction online to you saying that you'd be willing to air out Tyron Woodley. I get, maybe there's like some gym code or something. What's the reaction been like from people that are close to you that you know?
You know, they expect it. You know, they know how good of a fighter I am, and they know what I'm out for. I'm only out here to get the #1 spot. I'm letting everyone know, including Tyron Woodley, that he has what I want, and I'm coming for that. So, you know, it is what it is. I didn't get in this to make friends, so I don't really care if people like it or not. I'm not here to make friends. I have my friends, and I'm happy with my friends. So, you know, I'm here for business.
Absolutely. You know, when you look at the welterweight rankings, does it frustrate you at all to see, like, you know, you're ranked number 8, you're out here, you're fighting, you're looking for fights, and then, like, for instance, Carlos Condit's still ranked number 5 in the division? Like, does that frustrate you at all as you're trying to work your way up the ranks to see these types of things?
Yeah, you know, it's a joke, you know. I mean, if guys like that, they want to occupy the ranking for years on at a time, I mean, they need to fight. They need to show that they're active. Look at me. I've had 4 fights in the last year, and I've dominated all of them. So I want to see, you know, if you're in the rankings, you know, you need to be active. You know, I'm trying to get that #1 spot and keep moving up the ladder. So, you know, these guys need to get out of the way. This division is aging like milk.
You know, one of the things I noticed when I look at the rankings is that even though you're ranked currently number 8, there isn't many people ahead of you for a shot if you break it down in that, you know, Damian Maia just lost. Stephen Thompson lost twice. Robbie Lawler was knocked out. Jorge Masvidal just lost to Damian Maia. Condit's been inactive. Neil Magny, off top of the head, I can't remember how his last fight went, but Donald Cerrone just lost, and then there's you. Like, do you feel like you're a lot closer than the rankings show?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm a lot closer than the rankings show, and, you know, I think the realness is starting to be exposed, so I think that it might come sooner than it should because, you know, everything I'm saying is the truth, man. All these guys are ducking me. All these guys in the top 10 have been running from me. They don't want to fight. It's like you have to fight to get a title shot. So you guys think you're just going to sit on your ranking and just be gifted a title shot? I'm working my way up to that #1 spot, and, you know, I might just be 1 fight away from that.
You know, when you jumped on Twitter and said what you said, was part of that just seizing the opportunity to throw your name in that mix with the champion, just like a smart business, like a business tactic?
Not really. You know, the headline came across my face, and my friends were talking about it. What's your opinion? So I just gave my opinion on it. You know, Tyron Woodley, he's shady, man. He's a fake person. So I'm just. I'm letting my fans and more people know what most people already know, that he's a diva champ. Look at him. Oh, it's racist. Oh, the UFC wants the white champion. That kind of bullshit. You know, it's like the guy is just a joke. You know, so it's just me giving an opinion.
You've trained with him. How do you feel like you match up with Tyron?
Yeah, man, that's a pretty easy fight for me, to be honest. You know, I've trained with him, and you know, mentally, he knows, man. I'm in his head, dude. He knows. There's a reason he's not, you know, responding. He doesn't want to say much about me. You know, he said on UFC tonight, oh, this and that, but he was saying complete lies. So, you know, I think I match up very well with him. It's a pretty easy fight. The guy can't go 5 rounds and, like, hard at a hard pace. You saw him. He just backs up to the cage, throws 1 or 2 punches. You can't fight like that in championship fights and expect to hold off a young lion like me. So, you know, I think it's an easy fight, and I'm looking forward to embarrassing him soon.
Yeah, have you talked to the UFC at all? Have you had any communication with them about what your next move is going to be?
Yeah, we're in communication with them, you know, every day, and, you know, they know what I know. You know, I scare the ink out of pens. There's a reason no one wants to put the pen to the paper and sign a contract to fight me. I'm the #1 fighter in the world right now. That fake champion, Tyron Woodley, he's the paper champion. But soon, I'm gonna be the real champion. But, you know, I know I'm the best fighter in the world. You know, those rankings aren't indicative of who the actual best fighter in the world is. Don't believe everything you read. Seeing is reading, and you're gonna see who the best fighter is next time you see me fight.
Absolutely. Is it now? If not Tyron Woodley, is there a name above you that intrigues you?
Yeah, I really want to get Damian Maia. You know, he got one off my best friend Jorge Masvidal. So I want to get one back for our team. You know, we're the easy money team. So, you know, he's a pretty easy matchup for me. He's one-dimensional. He can only try and take guys down and submit him. He can't strike. So, you know, I show off my striking and knock him out. Guaranteed I can devastate him and knock him out and do him worse than Tyron Woodley did.
You know, speaking of Jorge Masvidal, I know you guys are close. is this kind of like a race to the top? What happens now as far as you guys getting in each other's way for getting this title shot? Because you're both kind of gunning for the same thing. You're both right there on the doorstep. Do you guys have like an understanding between the two of you of like how this is going to work, or how's that work out?
Yeah, man, we're not going to fight for anything less than a title, so we'll see what happens, man. We got to get there first and take care of that part, and then we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Have you expressed to the UFC about fighting Damian Maia? What was your response like?
Yeah, I've expressed a lot of interest in Damian Maia. Not a lot of people want to fight Damian Maia. They know he's going to come out. He's going to come at you, take you down, and submit you. I'm not afraid to fight Damian Maia. That guy's not taking me down. I have 10 times better takedown defense than Tyron Woodley, and I'm more versatile on the feet. I mean, I honestly would embarrass that guy and make him look bad.
When you speaking of Tyron Woodley now, when you hear him start to mention you on UFC Tonight, and even if it's just slightly, you obviously know you've gotten under his skin with what you've said, just in the fact that he's bringing you up, period. Do you kind of see that as being like, okay, we're a step closer to what we're looking for? Because ultimately you just want to get him in the cage, I assume. So when you hear him start to mention, is it like a sign to you that you're moving in that right direction, you're a step closer to your goal?
Yeah, I mean, he knows, man. We've trained together. Deep down inside of his heart and in his mind, he knows what's coming, and he knows that this is my time now. He had his time. You know, a lot of these guys in the division, they're older. They all had their time. They know it's my time. And each second that goes by, he knows it's only getting worse for him. So, you know, I'm going to be that number one champion soon. He knows it.
How do you see a fight with you guys ending?
I see the ref taking me off him in like the third or fourth round. Just, you know, put him into a hard dog fight type fight, first round, second round. Just make those muscles work, make him have to breathe oxygen. He'll probably, you know, he'll fall over, man. The guy breaks mentally. That's just what he does. That's what I've done to him in the gym when we were supposed to spar 5 rounds. He'd be done by round 3. So, you know I get him out of that third or fourth round. The ref would pull me off and he would be broken.
Nice, man. Listen, I really want to thank you for taking some time to drop in and talk with us today. And I know you're a busy guy, so I really do appreciate that. And I hope to see you back in the cage real soon. I hope you can get something worked out and get yourself near that title shot. It'd be a great fight to watch.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that. You're going to see some big things soon. I promise you that.
Hey, man, I'm excited for it. And thanks for always being accessible to us, man. I really appreciate it, Colby.
Much respect, guys. Hope you have a great night.
You too, man. Have a great night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. He's super confident, man. Mm-hmm. You know? Like
I just was looking at the rankings as well. I was surprised as what you're saying is true. Like, who else is he going to fight? Gunnar? Gunnar would be a step down, technically, because he's coming off a loss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Like, the only other person that would make sense is maybe Cerrone. You know, the name of Cerrone, maybe, if he wants to fight once. Because I heard that he wants to quick turnaround.
I can't imagine that would be enough of an impact fight for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just...
Yeah, it's more of a money fight for him, if anything.
Well, it's just like a plateau. Like, he's only one spot ahead of you. Where would you move? What would you do? Right?
True.
Like, it wouldn't do anything for you.
But Maia's not a seller either, so.
No, but what Maia does bring him up. Yeah, it flies him up those charts, right? And like we were saying, like if you look at the list, a lot of them have already been beaten or have just lost recently. You know, like there's not a lot of guys that are put together a few wins and are right there on the doorstep who haven't already fought.
Yeah.
So. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it breaks down.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what I love to see is like we wouldn't fight for anything less than a title. Like imagine him and Masvidal. Like that's warrior shit right there.
Well, that's the fight really, if you look at it, that's the fight you want to see right now. But just you can't get it unless
if they're best friends. Like imagine like that's heart though. You know what I mean? Like that's a different thing. When you come in like that.
Well, you both know how hard you work. Then you're not gonna like pass that opportunity up because of you guys are gonna be friends no matter what. If not anything, it'll make you even more closer friends.
At the end of the day, you both have goals, right?
Yeah.
So you got to make these happen. That's what it comes down to. It's bigger. It's bigger than just you each got into this with a plan, right?
What was that quote there? He's like, "I take ink out of the pen." I never heard that one before.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Listen, I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's been another great week. We had on 5 great guests. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week. It's me, Jason Sutcliffe, with
Tristan Keddy,
and we'll have we should have Aljamain Sterling. I think it's pretty much been secured for next week. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a whole lot of good guests on, so stay with us, and enjoy the show. And
maybe some Skype too.
Yeah, we'll be working on that too, trying to make improvements to the show. So we hope you guys all enjoy it, and we'll be back next week with a slew of good guests. Enjoy the night.